If you grew up in a religious community, you may have had some confusion around how to set proper and healthy boundaries. A lot of the confusion comes from the idea that we are to turn the other cheek. If someone asks for our tunic, we give them our cloak, and we go the extra mile. I'll also have another one at the end that I haven't mentioned here. These ones that I did mention, however, are examples of teachings that have been improperly used to pressure people into silence and self-sacrifice. And maybe you were just told, just take it, be nice, let it go, and don't cause waves. The good news, however, for those who have endured this silence and self-sacrifice in the name of taking the higher road, these weren't instructions to be passive and become a doormat. I'm about to flip the tables on that notion by shedding some of the light on the cultural context back in Roman-occupied Judea. Let's first start with the hands. In the ancient world, the right hand was the clean, proper, and socially acceptable hand. It was the hand that you used for greetings, deals, meals, and everything honorable. The left hand, however, well, that was reserved for, let's just say, some unclean tasks. And no, they did not have toilet paper back then. You didn't touch people with it. You didn't gesture with it. Using the left hand in public was deeply insulting and even punishable. So if someone struck your right cheek, they had to use a backhand of their right hand. And a backhanded slap was not about violence. It was a status blow. It was meant to communicate to someone that their status was beneath them. A Roman to a Jew, a master to a servant, or a superior to an inferior. And this is where the context gets really interesting. If you turn your left cheek to the person who slapped you, they cannot backhand you again. To strike now, they'd have to use their open palm or a fist in a way that you'd hit an equal, not an inferior. So it forces them into a dignity dilemma. Either hit you as an equal or walk away. Either way, you have refused humiliation without returning harm. This was not about compliance. This was an assertive, embodied boundary setting. And yet, many of us were told it means let yourself be mistreated. We were taught to shrink when in reality, turning the other cheek was a means of forcing the offender and standing tall. Now, let's address the cloak. If someone sued you for your tunic back in Roman days, you were already desperately poor, but your cloak was legally protected. No one could keep it overnight. It was your blanket, your covering, and your dignity. So where Jesus says, give them your cloak also, he's actually describing a bold, startling, and unforgettable act. By handing both garments over, you publicly expose the injustice. Because culturally, the shame falls on the one who caused the nakedness, not the one standing there with nothing. It was a way of saying, I won't fight you, but I won't hide your injustice either. Here's another one that's commonly misapplied. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go 2 with them. Roman soldiers could legally compel civilians to carry their gear, but only for 1 mile. It was humiliating forced labor. They didn't get paid for it. But if you went on and carried it 2 miles, that soldier was suddenly in trouble with Roman military law. Now he was anxious, and you had the agency. Again, this is not passivity. This is not people-pleasing. It's wise, intentional, self-respecting action. So, what does this mean around the holidays? Back in my church youth days, we would ask, what would Jesus do? Flipping tables is an option, right? It means you are not powerless to set boundaries with people who mistreat you. There are ways to keep your own dignity while also refusing to play by someone else's demeaning script. Lastly, before I go, I want to talk about heaping coals. This has to do around showing kindness. In doing so, You will heap burning coals on their head. In the ancient world, if someone's fire went out, they couldn't cook, they couldn't stay warm, and they might not even survive the night. A neighbor would give them hot coals carried on the head so that they could rekindle their fire. It was an act of generosity and not revenge. So when Paul uses that phrase, he's actually saying, give warmth instead of hostility, offer life instead of retaliation, and don't let someone else's behavior extinguish your fire. Boundaries plus compassion can lead to transformation. This holiday season, you may be confident in setting your boundaries. May you demonstrate kindness, remain grounded, and whenever possible, heap some coals and offer warmth. And choose a love that heals instead of repeats the harm. If you've enjoyed this video, please like or comment or share it. And if you haven't followed my new page yet, Dark Horse Blueprint, I'll be working on creating some more engaging content in the coming weeks. Until then, stay spicy!